I bet you feel very evaluated by me when I think I'm coaching.
100%.
Okay.
Isn't that interesting? Doesn't that blow your mind a little bit?
Yeah.
Because when I was reading, I'm like, yes.
Okay.
This is the same thing with me when I think I'm coaching you.
Yeah.
Or being like, what I'd really like to see is X, Y, or Z.
I feel like I'm being shamed or
judged.
Told I'm not doing good enough or yeah. Okay.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah. Okay. That's okay. Welcome back to In Residence. I'm Keith.
And I'm Laura.
Hey, Laura.
Hey, Keith.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing swell. You have an idea of what we're talking about, so you get after it because I'm a little nervous.
You're a little nervous.
I feel underprepared.
Don't feel underprepared. We talk about this stuff all the time.
Okay.
Don't worry. I'm not gonna make you share your deep dark secrets or anything like that.
Good.
Okay.
All right.
So I think it was last week. I am part of Arnold Schwarzenegger's newsletter. He has
You're part of it?
Yeah.
You mean you get it in your inbox?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm part of his mailing list.
There you go.
And I think it's the Pump It Up Club.
Oh, awesome.
I think that's what it's called.
That's a good name for him.
He shares just tips about overall well-being and about different recipes and things like that. And so I've actually been really enjoying them. So maybe a little shout out if people want to connect with the Arnold. That's not a bad decision.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good.
Okay.
So anyway, I got this email newsletter and I was reading it and I thought, gosh, this is something Keith and I talk about quite a bit. He was talking about getting feedback from one of the folks that gets the newsletter about their approach to including sponsors in the newsletter.
Oh yeah.
And basically said, I just don't think it's ethical for you to include sponsors because maybe you're getting paid by them. And how can we trust that these sponsors are who you say they are, right? Okay. And it just doesn't seem right. And so the newsletter, he said, and I felt really bad because we really check out them. We don't recommend anybody that doesn't go through scientific testing and third-party verification and all these things. And so from I can sleep at night recommending these sponsors.
He felt like they did their due diligence and weren't putting people's identity at risk by associating them with the newsletter, with the people on the newsletter, and with these companies. Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
And so sometimes, right, when you get feedback, you're like, no, that doesn't quite seem right. And so you explain yourself, right?
Sure. That's how some people do it.
So,
I might get standoffish and withdraw.
True.
One way.
Well, yes. Well, this is what Arnold did, right? He wrote back, or his team wrote back, and explained the process they go through and said, okay, that should take care of these concerns. And the person was basically unmoved and was like, thanks, but yeah, no. And, it was one of those things where he kind of said in this newsletter, I really wanted to explain and thought by explaining my standpoint that this person would understand and trust me and see that the feedback he was giving wasn't exactly feedback that was true or helpful. Mm-hmm. Right?
Yep.
And I want to read something from this because I thought it was really helpful. He wrote, "It's easy to say we value feedback, but real feedback isn't about being praised or proven correct. It's about being willing to look at your work through someone else's lens, even when the view is biased, incomplete, or unfair. Because hidden somewhere in most criticisms, even if misguided, is a lesson."
Okay.
And really thinking about leaning into that lesson and that gift that feedback can bring to you.
Right. Interesting.
And so that was something that showed up in my inbox. And I read at the same time, that same week, I was reading this book for work called Thanks for the Feedback. So I'm going to write like this book.
Yeah.
Thanks for the feedback. And this is by Douglas Stone and Sheila Heen. And I thought, gosh, there's some serendipity here of having both of these things show up in my world that maybe you and I could unpack feedback a little bit and talk through that. And I want to get your thoughts on it as I tee up some of the key themes from the book.
Okay. Well, first off, like Arnold's retort, it sounded a little defensive in a way.
Yeah.
And also like, well, even if like they don't have all the facts or weren't going to change their mind or something, and I'm like, oh, it's funny. Like you could still tell like his feelings were kind of hurt and felt like if you only had all the information, you would make the right decision.
Right.
And that's not like he was halfway to empathy and then halfway to, but I want to convince you that it's okay. And that
right. But isn't that what we do?
Yes, exactly.
It's so natural.
It's so natural.
Yeah.
If you only knew what I knew, you would make the decision I would make.
Exactly.
And sometimes we have to ask ourselves, pretty sure I heard this from Seth Godin, like how you know that you're not leading other people astray is if they had the same information as you, would they still make the same decision? Not would they make your decision that you want them to make. It's like, would they still make the best decision for them if they had all the information? And and then so anyway, getting back to like that person who had feedback, I didn't want to. I almost like complained. They had some feedback.
It was feedback, right?
But it was them sharing. Like I don't think there was probably anything they could have said to get them to change what they believe. They believed that since you have sponsors, I can't trust you. I don't think
you're biased, right?
Just it's a belief.
Yeah.
That just seems like what that person believed. So, that's also something that you need to hold is like, if somebody is not willing to change their mind when they get more information and more facts that objectively give them evidence that maybe how they're defending their position isn't, I don't know if valid's the right word, but you know what I mean? Like, like if 99 out of 100 people heard what is being shared, they would all agree about this and you don't. Well, that's a belief, not something that you're willing to budge on, you know? So, anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think maybe just getting into the book a little.
Yeah, let's do it.
Would help us talk, because I agree with you, because it's an interesting, you almost set things up in our minds between, am I winning or am I losing?
Oh yeah, there's
behind this, right?
There's a lot
like
of
what you're saying.
There are a lot of feelings that come up when you're getting feedback, for sure.
Right, because you want to be right and in the win, and
even if I don't even know if we're always aware of that, but I feel like that is what gets triggered in us.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. So the first thing I wanted to share with you about the book that really changed my thinking around feedback is that there are 3 different types of feedback.
Okay.
And feedback is given in these 3 ways. And sometimes we give feedback and receive feedback, and sometimes they are the same in the same channels, and sometimes they're different in channels. And so there can be these disagreements because how I'm giving feedback is not how you're receiving the feedback.
Okay, I'm sure it's not this, but it makes me think of, or it's similar. It's similar to when I realized, like in communication, when I'm trying to like solve a problem for you or for somebody, and I didn't know there was a difference between, do you need to be heard? Do you need help? Or do you need a hug?
Yeah.
It's okay. So I feel like it's kind of coming similar to that. Right. So, okay.
Yes. So the 3 different types of feedback. The first is appreciation. And so appreciation looks like feedback when something has gone well or is recognized for being good.
Oh, like what a great meal.
Like what a great meal.
Yeah.
Or, I really feel seen when you buy me flowers on the weekend. I really feel special.
I try to do it when you're around, regardless of whether it's the weekend or not.
I know. Okay. But I'm just saying,
I know, I'm being funny.
right?
Yeah.
Like feedback like that.
Yeah.
So I think that's one that we see a lot, right? Like it motivates, it's encouraging.
Yeah.
And honestly, it feels kind of good, right? To feel appreciated.
Yeah.
I know sometimes you get a little shy about appreciation.
Yeah, the attention sometimes.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But,
okay.
Yeah.
We'll maybe dive into that in another episode.
Sounds good. That's a whole nother episode, right? So appreciation's the first type of feedback. The second is coaching. And so coaching is really the approach that you're taking to try and help someone increase their knowledge, their skills, or to grow.
I feel like that's my wheelhouse.
That is your wheelhouse.
That's my default. How can I improve this process for other people?
Yes.
Let me tell you how you can do better.
Right.
Okay. All right.
Right?
So I'm coaching versus being a busybody.
Yes.
Okay.
I think from your standpoint, when you're giving feedback, you're giving it from a lens that you're trying to coach.
Okay.
The third type is evaluation. And evaluation is really about determining where you stand in relation to expectations. So it really feels more like a judgment call on things. So like performance evaluations or things like that is evaluation. So we have appreciation, coaching, and evaluation are the three buckets of feedback.
I bet you feel very evaluated by me when I think I'm coaching.
100%.
Okay.
Isn't that interesting? Doesn't that blow your mind a little bit?
Yeah.
Because when I was reading, I'm like, yes.
Okay.
This is the same thing with me when I think I'm coaching you.
Yeah.
Or being like, what I'd really like to see is X, Y, or Z.
I feel like I'm being shamed or
judged.
Told I'm not doing good enough or yeah. Okay.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah. Okay. That's okay.
So I even think
you've been holding out on me. Why have you been holding this back? Like this is all helpful stuff.
This is like brand new information as of a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
I will say one of my favorite stories, and I don't even know if I should share it on here, but I'm going to.
Oh, no.
No, I don't think it's that bad. But I remember when we were early on in our marriage. And so we had, I don't even think we had kids yet. I mean, I think we were
that's pretty early on because we kind of had kids pretty quick.
Child one and a year and a half of being married or a year, right?
Yeah.
But so I think it was either the first year or maybe it was when we were still dating or engaged or I'm not sure. I remember I was always known or like I saw myself as someone that was somebody that baked, that cooked, that did a lot of like fun recipes. Like, you know what? It's complicated. I'm going to figure that out. Like, calzones. I'm going to figure that out.
You make good calzones.
I do I have a great recipe if anybody needs that. But yes, so I'm really proud or have been proud of me from an identity standpoint of I am a baker.
Yeah.
I am a cook. I make yummy food for people and show them I love them through that.
Okay.
Right? So when we were early on in our marriage or early on in our relationship, I remember I was making a batch of cookies. I think it was like chocolate chip cookies or something like that.
Okay.
And I was making cookies and I remember your mom was over. And I was sitting there and I'm like, okay, making cookies. I've done this thousands of times before. And she started explaining to me how to fold in the chocolate chips. Right?
Yeah.
You remember this, right?
No. Oh, no. I don't remember that at all. I just know how we are.
Right. How we are.
Oh, yeah. I'm owning it. I thought this was going to be about me.
No. And I remember sitting there going, and I was like, and I love your mom.
Yeah.
And so I was like, gosh darn it. Like at the time, I'm like, she's judging me. I know how to make chocolate chip cookies.
Yeah.
I made lots of chocolate chip cookies and my chocolate chip cookies are pretty dang good. So I don't need to know how to fold in chocolate chips. I do that.
Yeah.
But I know, and trust me, it wasn't something that I've like held on to. But when I was reading this, I'm like, you know what? I took it as evaluation,
and
she meant it as coaching.
Yeah.
Right? She was helping her future daughter-in-law or daughter-in-law like do chocolate chip cookies in a way that you do chocolate chip cookies.
Right. And the other thing, like we love to help when we can and be part of the process, and that can come out as not overbearing, but like it's not necessary, but we want to feel like we're lending a hand.
Right.
And so like if we're like, I'm watching you do something and I'm not helping, I feel like I'm being unuseful kind of thing. Like I'm not to speak for her, but I'm guessing I learned it from somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's yeah. I'm that is so interesting that somebody's coaching can feel like evaluation and vice versa. Yeah, that is I'm going to be journaling about that for a while, I think.
Well, and I think what is so interesting about the letter, right, or the newsletter, it wasn't a letter, a newsletter from Arnold, kind of this idea in this book is that the idea isn't that you try and combat feedback. The idea is how do you take and learn from it and approach it with a growth mindset and really start thinking about how can I learn from what it is that I'm hearing and how can I better receive that feedback in a way that's going to help me grow.
Yeah, or like not internalize it in the way that maybe you do.
Right.
You're right. Or because like if you don't have the awareness of realizing like, oh, they're not judging me, they're simply trying to be part of the process.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot different than feeling like, oh, they don't think I know how to do this. Okay, like right. So that learning is like learning the awareness of knowing, okay, why am I feeling the way I'm feeling? Like, and it's okay.
Yeah.
But then it's like, oh, maybe that's not what they mean. Like that's that empathy of knowing like, oh, where are they coming from?
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I think both things are important of knowing where you're at, where you're coming from, or how it's making you feel. And then, okay, maybe their intention isn't this, and that's how I'm receiving it though. And not that either is right or wrong, but it's, if you know it, it's helpful to be able to move through it, I guess.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. So the idea about that feedback and like knowing, I mean, I will say, and I want to talk a little bit um, about this later on, but one thing I do want to talk about is that, I mean, there is a certain level of healthy boundaries that you do need to have around feedback too. I think that's really important. But really focusing in on what is in your control about how you can receive feedback and what you do with that is really the primary point of this book of how do you take it and learn from it. Are you okay if I talk a little bit about things that perhaps maybe put us in a place where we're more resistant to feedback?
Sure.
Or question feedback?
Yeah.
And I don't know if these are going to be super surprising to you.
Okay.
But I'm gonna just kind of go through some of these. And so one of the things around being kind of more resistant to feedback is that we as humans have a knack for what the book calls wrong spotting. And that somewhat protects us, right? Of saying, yeah, but that's not quite correct because I know more than you do, or you don't realize the context, or you're misinterpreting me. So wrong spotting is one thing that we as humans do kind of from a survival standpoint, but also feeds into that like not taking feedback.
So is that like pointing out what the other person is doing wrong? Or
Sometimes it can be.
okay.
Yep. Sometimes it definitely can be. But it can also be somewhat just dismissing the feedback because you think like if you were to say something to me like I'm trying to think of some feedback you've given me.
Oh no. Don't burn yourself on the oven.
Sure.
No.
No, well, or like some feedback of maybe you shouldn't put beverages close to the edge of a table.
Yeah.
What my brain says sometimes if I'm wrong spotting is I get how that could be problematic, but he doesn't know me. He doesn't know my spatial awareness.
I think I do.
Okay, maybe this is a bad example.
Why I move all of your beverages about 4 or 5 inches away from the edge where you set them.
Okay, so maybe that's fair.
I get you. You might dismiss or not be willing to see how the feedback could be helpful. Is that kind of like what you're talking about here?
Right, exactly.
And because, so say I'm like moving your beverages on you and pointing out like, hey, you might spill this if it's this close to the edge. You might in your head be saying like, don't baby me like that, or you don't know that I'm gonna, you're gonna make
every 100
it happen.
times. For every 100 times my beverage is there, I probably only spill like
500 times,
maybe.
No, okay,
maybe.
All right, okay,
yeah. So that is one thing. The other thing, because we might be resistant, is because we might have a blind spot.
Yep.
I mean, I know I have blind spots.
Oh yeah, I definitely do.
And one thing that made me actually laugh a little bit. So I was on a plane when I was reading this.
Was this when you were delayed?
This is when I was delayed. Okay. I read pretty much the entire book in one sitting.
Okay.
Because I was delayed on a plane between New Orleans and Dallas.
Yeah.
But which we talked about a few episodes ago.
Yeah.
But they said that your blind spot might be that you have a leaky face.
What?
So meaning that what you think and what you look like.
Oh, you may not be like masking it?
Yes.
Okay.
Pretty much.
So people can like read you?
Yes, people can read you. So you don't have a poker face.
Okay.
And I feel like I do, and I definitely don't.
Oh.
I have tells.
Yeah, probably.
Right?
Well, that's tricky for me because I read into the slightest little nuance.
You do. Yeah.
So I'm hyper aware. And it's not always accurate. I project with it sometimes. Right. But yeah, you don't necessarily hide how you're feeling very well. Let's just say, like, I've definitely noticed when you may be trying to not reveal how you're feeling. Like it's fairly transparent.
Yeah. I used to think I was better at this than I actually am. And so that's why I laughed on the plane. Yeah. I'm like, leaky face.
That's very funny.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that is a blind spot of mine. Yeah. Especially when I was younger, I was really confident that I was very composed, and I don't think that was exactly the case.
Yeah, so, I don't know if I am at all.
You're pretty good.
Am I?
Yeah, you're pretty steady. Okay. You can't see it too much.
Okay, good.
The next one though is leaky tone.
Oh no. That probably made you laugh really loud then. That's definitely me.
Yeah, that one's more you than the leaky face.
I also don't think I'm super great with my tone can sound different than what I'm intending also.
Yes, absolutely.
I can sound upset when I'm not.
Yes.
And I don't know if it's because my voice is deeper or what. But
you also have a dry sense of humor and sarcastic sense of humor.
Yeah.
So sometimes you're joking.
Yeah.
And I think you're like frustrated.
You think I'm serious because I'm looking serious because I think that's part of the joke is like I'm dead serious and you're like, oh no. And I'm like, no, I was kidding.
And I was like, okay, I'm glad you said it.
But yeah, I think I definitely show more emotion through my voice than my face.
Yeah.
Okay. But that's what that means, right? Is
absolutely.
like, oh, I can hear in your tone like you're upset even though your face might not show it, kind of thing.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. So leaky face and leaky tone.
Okay.
And the other one is just patterns. And so acting in ways, in a repetitive way that maybe isn't in alignment with what you think you're doing or saying. Which, I mean, I think that kind of makes sense, right?
We all have habits and
Yeah.
and things that just, become a pattern.
Yeah. Exactly. So I think that makes sense.
Okay.
And then the third thing, the last thing around possible things that might help us, or not help us, but make us more resistant to feedback, is who's giving the feedback.
Hmm.
And I don't know if that's surprising to you at all.
No, I mean, if one person can say something one way and another person can say it the different way, and they're saying the same thing, but they're not saying it the same way, or the history you have with that person informs how you take it. The
Right.
status, right? Is it
Yeah.
your boss? Is it somebody that works underneath you? Or this one time they did this and you're still fuming about it, maybe, or, like
Yeah.
everything informs like how we take in our surroundings. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
It does. Absolutely. They talked a lot about somebody's credibility too. So if you're getting feedback from someone that you don't think is credible
Oh, yeah.
and giving you that feedback, that matters.
Yeah. Well, I can see how this matters in both ways. Like, right? Like, I might dismiss something that somebody says if I don't find them credible, but I may give too much weight to something somebody says that maybe I find credible,
Ah,
you know?
yeah.
And so I think, so like when I say like I'm kind of a skeptic, I think I think that's a good thing. Like, I don't think I'm super jaded or pessimistic. It's more of, I will hear what you have to say and listen to the facts of it. And not that I definitely can't separate like maybe how I feel about somebody
Right.
um easily, like, but I do want to like reserve judgment and not solely accept something because of how I feel about somebody, right?
Right.
So I want to be a little skeptical I mean that in a good way, I think.
Hmm.
Like, hey, let's not jump to conclusions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you need to be a little discerning,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, that's a more eloquent way of saying it, is like I try to be discerning and not jump to conclusions.
Right. Yeah, exactly. But, it's like I'm trying to think of a good example, like maybe like music, like thinking about music. And if when I was doing my juries, so I had to do music juries where you go and you perform solo pieces in front of your professors at the end of the
Yeah,
semester.
there's a panel of like, was it like 3 to 5 or something?
3 to 5, yeah,
Yeah.
3 to 5, and you go and you walk in and you have them memorized, and it's terrifying, but you do it,
Yep,
right?
yep,
Because
yep.
you have to.
That's part of the
It's
program.
part of the program. But you go in and you do that. If I was doing that and I was getting feedback from those jury members, and they were people that were, say, they were faculty members from my psychology class, my women in the law class, and my biology class, and my piano studio instructor. I think from a credibility standpoint, they're all really smart and intelligent individuals.
Mm-hmm.
But from a feedback standpoint, I'm definitely going to be biased at hearing what my faculty member from piano has to say about my performance rather than my psychology, biology, or somebody else, right? So
Yeah.
it's that credibility of who is giving you the feedback
Now, do
matters.
you think that's appropriate, or do you think that's a way to protect yourself?
Well,
Because just because they're, not in the music program doesn't mean that they don't have a valid opinion about
that's
music. You know what
it's
I
a good
mean?
challenge. Yeah,
Yeah.
that is a
I'm not saying yes or no. I'm just saying like that's kind of where I would go from that.
yeah.
Like, I would examine that a little bit if it came up for me. Like that's that next layer of this of, oh, do I just not want to, I don't want to hear the feedback they gave me because it hurts my feelings. Therefore, I'm going to not say they're not as credible as my music professor, kind of thing.
You know, what's interesting because I'm thinking about not just the critical nature of it, but I think I assume the bias would be that they would give me feedback that was too positive.
Oh my gosh, really? Okay. So oh my gosh, that's so funny. We're so different. So I was thinking you were talking about, oh, they're not seeing how good I am. Therefore, they're not giving me as much. They're not like maybe praising my performance as much. And then what you were actually saying was, oh, they were treating me too nicely. Is that what you're saying?
Like I was saying, if I was to go back to this, that they're giving me more appreciative feedback.
Oh, right. Okay, sorry. I'm not using
instead of evaluative or coaching.
Yeah.
Right.
So you would dismiss their appreciation, and in the same scenario, is your piano instructor, are they appreciating you or are they critiquing you?
They're probably coaching or evaluating.
Okay, is their evaluation positive or negative?
Probably positive.
Okay.
For the purpose of helping me grow.
Okay.
Why? What would yours be?
I don't think like that. So I'm just interested because like I thought you were talking about getting like poor marks, maybe like a lesser rating. And so then I was like, okay, so but you're talking about them giving you appreciation. And I'm like, so the people that don't know music, are they appreciating you more than you deserve? And is the person that knows music maybe being more critical and coaching and showing you where you're lacking? I was just wondering like where your headspace was in this scenario. Like, sorry, I'm dissecting it a little too much. But I think I'm always in like, so say that was my scenario. I think I'd always be like way critical on myself.
Yeah.
And I don't even know if it was a like bad marks, I'd be like, yeah, that makes sense. And if it was good, I'd be like, well, that was nice of them, kind of thing.
Kind of dismiss it
a little bit
or take it really hard.
Yeah. But there would be a like a thread of truth to that. Like if I did a good job, if I knew I did a good job and they said I did well, I would be like, yeah. But like where if there was dissonance between what I thought and what they said, there would be some work to be done for me to process it, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I think that's what I was wondering was like, how are you processing this? I want to know like where your head is at. Like, are they praising you or are they giving you feedback that is maybe seen as less positive kind of stuff?
Yeah.
Anyway,
that's interesting.
Yeah.
So the other piece from people's standpoint from feedback is the relationship is it when you get feedback from a stranger or somebody that is difficult that you feel is difficult.
Yeah.
I think that's a really good thing to just notice because when you get feedback from a stranger or someone, I will say getting feedback from someone that you view as difficult, that one's really hard. That one's more difficult for me than like a stranger.
I don't know exactly what you mean by difficult.
So, say someone that you find just hard to get along with, that you don't always see eye to eye with, that you just don't quite vibe with, right? If they try and give you feedback on something, it's kind of hard to like take. So, I'm going to go down a path and I don't know if it's a good example or not.
Okay.
So, I've been watching Ted Lasso.
Okay.
And thinking about, oh gosh, I can't remember the guy. The guy that is the newspaper reporter.
Trent.
Yeah. Trent Krim.
Yeah.
Yes, Trent Krim.
Independent.
From The Independent. That's right. Trent Krim from The Independent. So he stands up, right, and gives feedback in kind of a passive-aggressive way.
Okay.
To Ted Lasso and to Rebecca about why do we have a coach here that doesn't know anything about soccer? Football, yeah. He kind of is painted in this difficult person lens, right? He asks hard questions. He doesn't let up. He doesn't know the full context. He doesn't know Ted, right? He's not rooting for the underdog like maybe I am when I'm watching it.
Yep.
And taking his feedback, I think there's a couple times where people are like, well, don't worry about him, right? You just show him.
He's just difficult.
He's just difficult.
Dismissive, right? Okay.
Right.
Yep.
Like, just don't worry about that. You focus on your thing.
Yep.
Don't worry about that critique or that, that viewpoint of who you are.
Yeah.
And so that's what I kind of mean by difficult person.
Right. Well, so we've talked about this before with feedback, and I always bring up not all feedback is equal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because that helps me get through those types of situations. Like a lot of time when you get feedback, it's not actually feedback. It's just somebody's opinion.
Mm-hmm.
And it tells you more about them than what they think they're giving you feedback on.
Right.
So like earlier today or maybe yesterday, we got a comment on one of our short videos. And it was basically, I think it literally said, well, that doesn't make sense. And I'm like,
that's feedback.
I'm like, what do you want me to do with that? And I kind of speaking to like what you're talking about, I'm like, well, they're being difficult in a way. They're being kind of obtuse on purpose, it felt like.
Yeah.
And then I did go and look, I'm like, well, who is this? And I'm like, oh, they've made no posts. And then I'm like, well, if you're not going to post anything, like, why are you commenting on anybody else's posts kind of thing?
Yeah.
So I was kind of going through that, getting feedback. And I'm just like, this isn't really giving me anything.
Yeah.
Besides a weird sentence that means, I'm like, I think you're saying you don't like what I put out.
Yeah. It's more evaluative without details.
Yeah. So I'm just like,
yeah,
whatever. I'm like, it's not as equal as somebody that said like, this doesn't make sense. I'm not sure what you're saying when you talk about X, Y, or Z. And that where I could actually be like, oh, well, what I meant was this. Like, thanks for asking that question so I could clarify, and you know what I mean? Like, so it's definitely interesting to get feedback from whether we perceive somebody as difficult or somebody that has no, maybe in our head, like for me, that person, I'm like, well, you don't have the right to say anything to me because you're not doing what I'm doing, So I got a little defensive in a way.
Yeah.
Like, so.
Well, it's easy to do that. I know even this summer, you and I, we were out just on our deck, enjoying a glass of wine, hanging out, listening to music. And I decided I wanted to make you try and guess Metallica songs.
Yeah.
So I put on, Apple Music, deep cuts is what
they said.
Yeah. Right? Like that's what I asked for was deep cuts. And I don't know Metallica enough to know what's a deep cut and what's not. I mean, I know some things that are not.
Right.
But I remember I went through and I had you guessing.
And I said, I'm like, these aren't deep cuts.
No, and you said that. And somebody put that comment on, and I was like, oh, and I was mortified. Yeah. I was just like, oh my goodness, like Keith even said they weren't deep cuts, but Apple Music said they were. And I mean, I'm just trying to, I thought it was kind of fun. And, but now I'm feeling judged a little bit by not knowing that it's not a deep cut, like a Metallica song.
Yeah. I definitely talked you through that. I was just like, I'm like, they're not wrong, and neither are you. You read to the audience, hey, this is what we're listening to, and you gave the title, and then we did it, and then I think the part where I said, like, these aren't deep cuts, I don't even know if it made it into the video.
Probably not.
And I just said, I think I was like, just tell them, like, yeah, you're right. Like, they definitely aren't, but that's what they were called, kind of thing. And, and I'm like, it's that thing of like, don't take it personally, right? And that's what I was trying to not to do that with the comment that I got on the video, but I think I did for a beat. And
I did too.
After a minute,
absolutely.
After a couple minutes, I was just like, whatever. I'm like, at least somebody commented.
Well, and one of the things when you get feedback like that is to try, one thing they say in the book, and I just to bring us back there a little bit, is to really, one of your first things is not to dismiss it or to, like, even if it's your gut instinct to do, but to really try and understand it more.
Yeah.
So to ask questions, to understand kind of where is it coming from. And like when you're getting comments online, it's really hard.
Yeah, I don't necessarily want to expend that energy there.
Right.
But maybe interpersonally and
Of course.
with colleagues and stuff like this, that definitely warrants like, hey, let's put some more energy into sitting in the discomfort maybe that we're feeling.
Sure.
And allowing ourselves to realize like, this doesn't feel good, but it's simply like my reaction and I can work through this kind of thing. Like, that's what it feels like to me. I'm not gonna deal with internet trolls like the same way I would with like coworkers and stuff.
Right. I mean, they have maybe a little less credibility. For you, right? I will say one thing I might not have asked, like the commenter about the Metallica songs, if they could tell me which ones weren't, like, can you help me understand which ones weren't deep cuts? But I did ask you. I said, okay, so, and like you said, you're like, oh, well, they're not wrong.
Yeah.
But you're not either because you did get it pulled. So, like we can still respond and not feel like it's
with that one for sure. That person was engaging and they weren't being mean.
They weren't.
And you just simply say like, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Like I get that.
Yeah. I said, you're right. That's how they labeled them, but just having fun here.
Yeah, exactly. That was fun.
It was fun. Like we're kind of getting to that spot, I think, as we're talking through the conversation of taking feedback and really focusing on how do we create that growth mindset for it. So what are those learning opportunities? What can we take from it and move forward? And that's really I would say the heart of the book is how do you receive feedback, but take it in a way that helps you become better or improve what you're doing.
So as part of that, for me, part of that is being okay with not receiving some of it. like where we were just leaving off is for me. So maybe you can help me work through that because I'm not trying to dismiss things, but if all feedback isn't equal, maybe I don't need to acknowledge some of it. Is that like, how are they helping me work through that and not get defensive and to tap into like, okay, what can I learn from this one kind of thing?
Yeah.
Like if I get some feedback that is evaluating me and it's not fair, what do I learn from that? How do I grow from that? Just like don't allow it to affect my mood and to spiral kind of thing or
So one of the things that they share is that when you get feedback, even if it's evaluative, to try and sort it into and frame it into that coaching standpoint.
Okay.
So trying to say, okay, so it feels judgy. It feels like I am being held up to an expectation that is set that I might not even realize I'm being held to. But I'm going to try and reframe this in the coaching mindset of what is this feedback and this person trying to do to help me grow? What skills, what knowledge are they trying to help me gain? So that's one of the things that they recommend trying to do.
I do want to acknowledge, I think I have a work to do with receiving feedback. And so that's why I'm asking these kinds of questions because I definitely internalize criticism and take it hard, maybe. um, and and like, I don't think the burden it has to solely be on the person receiving it. I think it it also needs to be when we are giving feedback, right?
Yeah.
Like, I want to be better at giving feedback, and I don't want to feel like I'm evaluating you, or I don't want you to feel like I'm evaluating you,
Right.
because that's usually not my intention. But being like, you've helped me see, like, oh, I am probably showing up like I'm judging you, and I thought I was simply being helpful, right? So it goes both ways, but yeah, that's definitely something for me to work on.
Yeah. One other thing they talked about, in addition to trying to sort your feedback into coaching and try and focus there, is to give yourself a second score. So, especially if it's evaluative, and say, you get a 3-star rating on something instead of the 4 that you want. Try and say, okay, so I got a 3-star rating. Now, what would a 4-star rating look like in how I'm receiving that feedback? So, saying, like, okay, so I got this, I didn't like it, but I'm not going to overreact. I'm going to think through what is true about this. I'm going to sort this into coaching. I'm going to ask for feedback from those I trust, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, kind of a nice tool. But I do think you're right in that sometimes we do need to set some boundaries around feedback. I think we've all been the receivers of unsolicited feedback.
Right. Yeah.
And maybe that's kind of where you're getting to.
Yeah. Yeah. Giving or receiving, right? Like, how
Yeah.
do I get the awareness to not spiral? Say if somebody says something to me that feels like, well, I wasn't warranted. Why would they even say that to me? Uh,
Yeah.
or, so, like, whether it's something as simple as, like, when you receive feedback like that, like, do you simply, like, count to 5 or 10, right? And breathe, right? And
Yeah.
like anything like that, but the same goes for if I'm giving it. Like, how do I stop myself from jumping in and saying, "Oh, here, let me be helpful," and you're just like, dude, I'm just sitting in here trying to make dinner. Like, go sit down, or talk to me about something else, kind of thing.
I
Like,
think I've said that to you quite a few
yeah,
times,
yeah.
haven't I?
Well, it's that thing where it's like, okay, you can either take over and do it yourself for me, or you can sit there and we can talk about something else while I make this, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh yeah, I mean, this has been a while, like,
Yeah.
but
I think we're in a better spot with it.
yeah, I mean, I have the tendencies, like, it will creep in, but I notice it now, so, like, giving yourself the time to
Yeah.
notice whether you're the one giving or receiving, to let yourself process.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, if you're receiving, you need time to process before you react. And if you're the one that finds yourself giving it, you need to give yourself the time before you submit it, right? Kind of thing. And, like,
Yeah.
okay, am I showing up the way I want? Am I communicating what I think I'm communicating? And maybe even saying, like, oh, how might they receive this? And is that what I'm intending? And if not, I maybe need to do another draft, kind of thing,
Right. Yeah.
if not saying it's got to be in writing, kind of thing,
Mm-hmm.
but I know you're very thoughtful with how you give feedback, and there's a lot of thought that you put into how it's going to be received,
Mm-hmm.
as well as how you're sending it, kind of thing. So there's definitely room for me to learn and grow in that, in those ways. So yeah, I like it. Is
Yeah.
there what else is?
So with the boundaries too,
Yeah.
I think it's important and okay for us to set boundaries about what kind of feedback we're willing to receive and from who. Um, there's lots of people that want to give you lots of thoughts about different things, and there are some things that you simply it's just off the table. And like you said, people are trying with good intention to be helpful, right? But it is okay to say, you know what? I understand you want to share that with me, but right now I don't need or would like I don't want feedback on
Yeah.
how I'm parenting my child. I don't
Right.
want feedback on what I'm eating at this meal. I don't want feedback on whether or not I worked out today,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
Like there are certain things and maybe it's a good time because as you go into the holiday season,
Yep.
sometimes you have helpful, right? People or comments. I will say I don't feel like we have many of those folks in our lives that
Yeah.
give a lot of unsolicited helpful feedback.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I know we have in the past, right?
Yep.
And I know other people for sure also have in the past or currently do have people that are giving them feedback that they're trying to be helpful, they're trying to coach,
Yeah.
I think. But there are certain things that it is okay to say, I don't want feedback about this for the next 6 months, or I don't want feedback about this topic. And I'm going to let you know that you can give it, but it's not something that I'm going to receive from
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Um, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. That,
Maybe don't do it to your boss. I mean, I don't
yeah.
think I could envision saying
No.
that to my supervisor, right?
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
especially if it's about work,
Yep.
right? And my work performance.
Yep.
That's something you probably can't put that
Yeah.
boundary line up.
I mean, that's a little more for like personal relationships and stuff.
Mhm.
And it made me think of Michael Bungay Steinier's The Coaching Habit.
Mm,
I don't know if you've read that one.
I haven't. No.
But we have it. But he has a section called the Advice Monster. I might have brought that up to you before, but that came to mind. And we're talking
Yes.
about like part of this. Thank you for the feedback. Talking about coaching, and then so in that too, it's like
Mhm.
let's put the advice monster away, and you know,
Yeah.
and let's be conscious of how we are giving our feedback, and
Mhm.
you know, most people have to be in the right mindset and headspace to receive advice, you know,
Of course.
and um, so maybe it even just comes back to like, do they really need that from you right now? Are you the one that needs to be giving it to them, or you
Right.
know, or is now not the best time?
Right. Oh, I like that. Yeah, the advice
Yeah,
monster. That is something I think all of us can fall uh victim to,
I think it was such a
right?
big thing in that book that he has another one called The Advice Trap. I
Okay.
think. Don't quote me on that. I'll have to look it up. But I haven't read that one in a while either. But they're good.
Yeah. Yeah. It's good.
Sorry.
No.
I didn't mean to interrupt. I just realized I'm like, I think he wrote another book about it because it
About
was so
it.
powerful. And I was like, oh, I should read that
Mhm.
because I'm really good at giving advice.
Yeah.
Or I think I'm coaching and it's probably coming off as evaluation or advice that's not solicited.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. No, I get that. So I think maybe just to sum this up a little bit, maybe as you're going into these next couple months, think about the opportunities that you have to give feedback and to receive feedback and what things are working well for you, what things maybe you're finding some resistance to. Um, but also think about that one, what I think Keith and I both think is a really powerful idea about the kind of feedback you're giving and receiving, and whether that is appreciation, whether that is evaluative, or whether that is coaching.
yeah,
And how is it being taken when you're giving it and receiving it, and do those two things align? I think that's something that just really connects with me. And I know Keith and I will probably be saying that as we're giving each other feedback. over the next several months, just saying, oh, you're hearing me as evaluative. I'm trying to appreciate or coach, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's like a reframe, giving yourself time to reframe, or when you're feeling like, oh, you're coaching me or evaluating me and I'd rather be appreciated right now, kind of thing. Allowing there to be space for that to happen and for that feedback to come out, right? Like, I think we're pretty good at that, but there's always room for the communication to be more clear. And so the allowing there to be room for things to process and not, I don't know. I feel like sometimes I try to react too soon, whether it's feedback or trying to solve a problem, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes you just take a little beat, and allow the other person to say like, oh yeah, that's not helpful, or that, oh hey, that was really helpful. Maybe that might happen.
Yeah. Right. Well, and I mean, I think if we try and react and fix or solve, although it's natural, we lose that opportunity to learn.
Yeah.
Right? And that opportunity to grow and really find the gift in that feedback. I will often say, and it doesn't feel this way all the time, I know that, but sometimes when people in my life have said something really hard to somebody that was hard to say because it was awkward or weird or like, I can't believe I have to say this out loud.
Yeah.
I've often said, you know what? You have given that person a gift because you said the thing that was hard to say, and that's a gift. And so I actually think as I'm saying that, that aligns pretty well with this topic, because normally those hard things to say is some feedback in some form for the most part. And to reframe that as a gift, I think is powerful. And I know sometimes if somebody says that to me when I'm really feeling the feels, I might be rolling my eyes being like,
Right.
seriously? But I do think that we're going to get feedback one way or the other. Why not try and approach it in a way that can help you grow instead of in a way that makes you just feel even worse?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Giving or receiving, right?
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Anything else?
I don't think so, but just a shout out that if anybody is interested in learning more, there is so much more in this book than we covered. So thanks for the feedback. I'd highly recommend picking it up, giving it a read. And also I'd recommend joining Arnold's newsletter. It's pretty delightful. I've been enjoying it.
Awesome.
Do you have any recommendations? I just shouted out too.
Oh, not really. Not right now. I'm gonna dive into that book, I think.
Sounds good.
If you leave it here.
Yeah, I absolutely can.
Okay.
Absolutely can.
Yeah. All right. Let's get out of here.
Okay, sounds good.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Love you.
I love you too.
Okay.